Kuzangpo Botany Learning Project welcomes students of classes 4 to 6 to this session on features of a lyric poem. Class, before I start the lesson, I have listed 4 lesson objectives for you to fulfill by the end of this lesson. Number 1, I can list the features of a lyric poem. 2, I can read the poem by paying attention to pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. 3, I can comprehend the new words from the poem. And finally, I can relate the poem to real life situations. So class, welcome to this session. As we have listed the first objective, I can list the features of a lyric poem. Now, I have a short video for you to watch and listen attentively to this. Here we go.
Lyric poems. When you think of the word lyric, think of music lyrics, because lyric poems are meant to be sung. Lyric poems are also typically written in first person. That means they use words like me, I, our, we, and us. Additionally, lyric poems are typically about innermost feelings, things like love, hate, depression, and pure joy. An easy way to remember lyric poems is to think lyric is music and poem is emotions.
Class, you have watched the video. Now, let's see what are the features of a lyric poem. 1, it can be sung. It can be sung. So class, today I'm going to sing the first stanza for you. I have adapted the tuning from one of my favorite rhymes. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. So class, ready to rock? Here I go. Both my parents told me not to, but I did it anyway. Both my parents told me not to, but I did it anyway. Now our water tank is empty and the well went dry today. Now our water tank is empty and the well went dry today. And the well went dry today. Did you enjoy listening to me? I hope so. Thank you. So that was the first feature of a lyric poem. It can be sung. Now, let's think, what was the second feature of a lyric poem? Class? Yes, it is always written in first person. It is always written in first person. So if you go back to the video, the speaker had stated the poet would always use words such as I, me, we, us, and our. I repeat, the poets in the lyric poems, they would have used words such as I, me, we, us, and our. So that was the second feature of a lyric poem. It is always written in first person. Class, are you with me? Yes. Now let's go back again to the video. Think, what did the speaker talk about the third feature of a lyric poem? Yes, perfect. It expresses innermost feelings. The poet would express his or her emotions. Again, the emotions of love, hate, depression, pure joy. Now, class, what was the poet's emotion in this poem? The feelings. Think time. Exactly, perfect. The poet had the feelings of guilt, regret, of just forgetting to close the faucet, and it had affected huge. So, with this, again, I'll do the summary of the features of a lyric poem. Class, let's go to the first one. It can be sung. The next, it is always written in first person. And the third one, it expresses the innermost feelings, the emotions. So with this, we have fulfilled the second objective of this lesson. Now, class, can you recapitulate what was the third objective? Yes, think. I can read the poem by paying attention to pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. So to do this, I'll be doing a model reading for you, class. I want you to listen attentively to me and read along with me. Class, are you with me? Class. Yes. Here I go. Both my parents told me not to, but I did it anyway. Now our water tank is empty and the well went dry today. Not a drop is in the reservoir. The lake is completely dry. Everybody is getting thirstier and I'm the reason why. All the rivers are depleted. All the streams no longer flow. All the seas and all the oceans are devoid of H2O. No, there isn't any water. Not a drop is left to drink, 'cause I left the faucet running and it all went down the sink. Class, do you want me to read it again? Yes? Okay, here I go. One more time. Please try to read along with me. Okay? Are you with me? Yes. Both my parents told me not to, but I did it anyway. Now our water tank is empty and the well went dry today. Not a drop is in the reservoir. The lake is completely dry. Everybody is getting thirstier and I'm the reason why. All the rivers are depleted. All the streams no longer flow. All the seas and all the oceans are devoid of H2O. No, there isn't any water. Not a drop is left to drink, 'cause I left the faucet running and it all went down the sink. Class, I hope now you can read it on your own. So now we'll go to the next objective. Can you think it? What was that? You can comprehend the new words from the poem. To do this activity, I have two pictures for you to recognize and identify the words from the poem. And for the next three words, I have the meanings, and you need to say the words from the poem. Am I clear with my instructions, class? Yes? Okay. Now, here I have the first picture. Yes? What do you think that picture is about? Yes? Okay. Reservoir. Perfect. It's a reservoir. Excellent. Now, would you like to go to the next picture? Here I go. Class, what do you think this picture is? You might be thinking, oh, we have seen this picture 1,000 times. I know this word. Did you think that way? Yes. What do you think the word is? Exactly. It is a faucet. It is a faucet. Class, what is the synonym for this word, faucet? Yes, there. Tap. The synonym for faucet is tap. Thank you. Now, class, ready to go to the next? Now, I have three left for you. I'll be giving you the meanings of the three words. You need to identify the words from the poem. Now, the third one, the chemical formula for water. What do you think the word could be from the poem? Yes, there. Brilliant. H2O. The chemical formula for water is H2O. Here we go. Now the next. Totally without or completely empty. What do you think that word is, class? Yes, my dear. Brilliant again. Devoid. 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 Totally without means devoid, or devoid means totally without. Now the final, bit challenging. Used up so much that very little is left. I repeat, used up so much that very little is left. Since it's quite challenging, mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the brightest of all? Think time, class. Yes. Wow, depleted. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Karma is the brightest of all. Thank you, my dear boys and girls. You could comprehend well the new words from the poem. Number 1, what was that? Reservoir. What was number 2? Faucet. What was 3? H2O. What was 4? Devoid. And what was the final one? Depleted. So you have learned the 5 new words from the poem, class. So we are done with the third objective of the lesson. Now the next objective, I can relate the poem to real life situations. This is very close to my heart, my dear boys and girls. To me, I feel the ability to connect and relate is something that every individual must have. For example, what I believe is, if somebody can connect, he or she can empathize and not sympathize. And if we can relate, we can contribute. And at this time of a huge crisis all across the nations in the world, we need to connect and relate. So, my dear boys and girls, let us read this question. How can you relate this poem to the outbreak of the global pandemic COVID-19? Let me read the question again. How can you relate this poem to the outbreak of the global pandemic, the COVID-19? Think time again, class. Think out of the box. Think critically. How can you put yourself into this crisis and play your role? Yes, Sonam Wongmo says we need to wash our hands regularly using the 7 steps of hand washing for at least 20 seconds. Such a great thought, my dear. Class, can you add to what Sonam Wongmo shared here? Yes? Yes, Durge. To follow this, we need to have continuous water supply. Class, do you agree to what he said? Yes. To wash our hands regularly, following the 7 steps of hand washing for at least 20 seconds for several times, we need continuous water supply. So what, my dear boys and girls? How can you relate this poem now? Again, I give you the think time. Gezang? So, it is our duty to wash our hands and close the taps after washing our hands and when we are not using them. So, it is our duty to turn off the water taps after washing our hands and when we are not using them. Class. Sonam said, we need to wash our hands regularly, following the 7 steps of hand washing for at least 20 seconds. Durge added, we need to have continuous water supply. And Kezang Wangmo says, if we need to practice the hand washing to protect ourselves and fight against COVID-19, we need to have continuous water supply and play a big role here of not forgetting to turn off the water taps after washing our hands and while we are not using them. Boys and girls, you blew me away with your great thoughts. I guarantee if young students like you have such great thoughts, we will not have challenges in producing globally competent and nationally rooted students. And this would result to envisioning our His Majesty's dream. Class, now a very quick lesson summary. Are you with me, class? Class. Okay. Now if you look there, some of the lesson takeaways. 1. Small mistakes lead to big problems. Small mistakes lead to big problems. Class, let's go back to the poem. What was the small mistake that the poet had, done? Yes? Exactly. He forgot to close the faucet. Right? He forgot to close the tap. So what was the result? The big problems. What were the big problems? Yes, the reservoir was empty. The lake went dry. People were getting thirstier. Not a single drop of water was there to drink. All the rivers, all the streams were dry. All the seas and all the oceans were dry again. So look, my dear boys and girls, a small mistake, but the repercussion, the result was huge. He forgot to close the tap, but the impact of that was to a bigger extent. So what I'm trying to convey here is, it's not that we cannot make mistakes. We can make mistakes, but we need to learn from our mistakes. And we need to be mindful in whatever we do in life, so that we do not have negative impacts in oneself and to the community at large. Now, the next lesson takeaway. One person's waste causes to other person's shortage. I repeat, one person's waste causes to another person's shortage. Again, let's go back to the poem. What was the poet's waste? How did he waste the water? By forgetting to close the tap. Yes, exactly correct. By forgetting to close the tap. How did that cause to another person's shortage? Can you think? Beautiful. It affected the community because people were left without water to drink. So, each of us is responsible for the proper use of water, so that at this time of a huge crisis, we need water at all times to wash our hands regularly, following the 7 steps of hand washing for at least 20 seconds. So we have a huge role to shoulder, my dear boys and girls. So with these 3 lesson takeaways, I have come to the final section of my lesson. So in conclusion, I have the assessment not only to test yourself, but to test myself of how well did I deliver my lesson. So question 1, list down the features of a lyric poem. Okay, let's go back to the video. Think. Yes. What was the first feature of a lyric poem? It can be sung. Perfect. Yes, the second one, it's always written in first person. Wonderful. Yes, there, what was the third one? It expresses the innermost feelings, the feelings of joy, love, hate, depression, so on and so forth. So, these are the 3 features of a lyric poem that you just need to list it down. Will you be able to do, my dear students? Yes? Good. Now, the next question I have is to read the poem by paying attention to pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. So, as we have read the poem, so class, now let us again read the poem one more time. Ready to rock? Ready? Are you ready, class? Yes? Okay. I'm ready too. Both my parents told me not to, but I did it anyway. Now our water tank is empty and the well went dry today. Not to drop us in the reservoir. The lake is completely dry. Everybody's getting thirstier, and I'm the reason why. All the rivers are depleted. All the streams no longer flow. All the seas and all the oceans are devoid of H2O. No, there isn't any water. Not a drop is left to drink. 'Cause I left the faucet running and it all went down the sink. Every time I read this poem, I get connected. I hope you'll also try to connect and relate to this poem. So now, the final question for you is the most easiest one. Sing the poem using the tune of your favorite songs, like I did. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. So, try to sing so that you can retain this poem for a longer period. So class, with this I come to the end of my session. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Thank you so much and bye.